I've been thinking about exams and revision techniques. There's a question I saw on a post about how to help kids with ADHD, suspected ASD, possible other various labels or dyslexia, how to help them revise when they're struggling to concentrate and to focus. And it suddenly struck me that the ways that I used to revise were not entirely considered normal. So I thought they might help. So I thought I'd put a quick post on how to help your kid revise if they're struggling for exams or things. So one of my siblings used to record themselves. They'd read their notes and record themselves reading their notes, and then they would listen to the playback. And for them, that was the easiest way to revise. For myself, there were a number of techniques I used. One of them that I still do now is I have to write stuff down to remember it. I can't read it. That doesn't work for me. The audio may have worked if I'd known about speeding things up. So for me, if I do listen to audio, I can't comprehend it at regular speed, so I have to speed it up to 1.5 or 2 times. Now the advantage of that, if it works for you, is you can get through the information a lot quicker as well, so you can cram more in. But going back to the rewriting, I used to have to rewrite everything. So I'd start with a blank piece of paper, and I would look through my notes, and I would rewrite them in patterns or in blocks of themes, so that visually I could see the information presented in the different themes that it was in. So I might do like a square or a triangle, or I might do things in a spiral, but I'd write it in different ways, patterns and blocks on a new piece of paper. And on that paper I would have multiple coloured pens to underline certain words, and I would use multiple different highlighters to colour in certain sections or key phrases that felt particularly important. For things like chemistry, for example, where I had to write down chemical equations, again I would have to use that in colours and with clouds or circles around them, some way to make them distinct from each other. So the act of writing it for me helped it to stay in my brain, and the act of adding colours and patterns and shapes meant that when I did go into the exam, I could almost visualise the page more easily and then remember what content was within those patterns and shapes and colours, and it really helped me to revise that way. Finally, a new technique I developed at university was lying on my bed with my head hanging backwards off the edge of the bed, like that. Somehow that seemed to help me focus, and removing myself from my home space was essential. So for example, where there's no distractions, so for example a friend's nice shed to go and sit in, or for us we used to go to the university library. I say us because I'd go with a friend who clearly had similar challenges to me, and we'd go to the university library, but we wouldn't sit at the desks. We'd go in the stairwells and we would do headstands or handstands whilst revising, and we'd test each other. And it never occurred to me at the time that there was anything odd about this, although clearly there was no one else standing on their heads in the stairwells at any point, and we'd get a few weird looks. But the combination of the movement and interaction with another person, so testing each other, was really valuable to help keep our concentration going. So yeah, those are just a few ways that have helped me revise over the years. I'll summarise them in the text below the video for anyone, in case that's of help. But I hope this has been useful, and let me know if you have any other tips or ideas, because these were really helpful to me. But I'm always keen to hear of other ideas that other people have come up with.